2 minutes for people to...
We should do a summary of what happened in the last bit.
Yeah, so last time we left off, you guys had been up to some stuff in the Monk's Hood. Little tavern you guys had managed to find. You had talked to a group of Yakin dwarves, who'd seem little unhappy that you knew Banham. You'd found your way into this kind of tavern. You'd discussed with a lovely set of gnomes and their friendly halfling friend. You'd been confronted by a tall, kind of willowy, long golden strands of hair, silver-cloaked woman, and her silver-cloaked companion who had disappeared before finally exiting yourselves. You'd made your way back to Belcourt Manor. You'd had a small run-in with people you know. You guys, Tabik and Shyn, had gotten Carsidith to open up the library for you. So let's start there, shall we?
Okay.
What's happening?
That's riveting.
This is very exciting.
Well, I followed Tabik, so I'm waiting to see what Tabik does.
What's Tabik doing in the library?
Well, he's kind of realized that there happens to be a lot of Fae stuff around us, so he's gonna try and find a book about the Fae.
Awesome. Roll me an investigation check, please.
He's gonna find a children's book.
Finds a nursery rhyme about the Fae.
13.
13? Okay. You look around this kind of a level you're on, the second level. You can't seem to find too many books about actual Fae and stuff. You find a couple of books. There's a bestiary. There's a couple of books on different histories and stuff. You find one book that does detail a couple of nursery rhymes and stuff with some Fae nursery rhymes in a language you can't read, sadly. But it doesn't seem that there seems to be any proper books on the Fae up here. Moving down to the first level, you find a set of about 4 or 5 books, journals I should say, that describe firstly in a language you don't speak, the same kind of sprawling language from those beautiful Fae nursery rhymes that you'd found. And then underneath that it says, a history of the families of the courts, a history of the courts, a history of noble houses of the Feywild, and one more book that is titled The Starlit Forest.
Fun.
And I can't read any of them.
They're squished together on the shelf. There seems to be some of it that is in common, scrawled out in Elvish as well. But for the majority of the book, they are in this language you don't recognize, you don't speak.
Does it look familiar to the book that we have with, like, the dragon and the star?
No.
Is it familiar?
It looks different.
No?
Oh. Forgot I had that in my bag.
Yeah!
What?
I have that book in my bag.
Hey, I forgot about that too.
He should probably put it somewhere safe.
Can I take a second look at those history books?
Which one?
See what they're about?
Which one would you like? There's a history of families of the court, a history of the courts, and a history of the nobles of the Feywild, I believe is what I said.
Can I read any of them if I just quick open them?
There is a section in the history of the Fey court that you can read that describes the kind of like system that they work under. There is also a page, the first page of which has been torn out, but there is a second page that details a small, what looks like a family lineage line in the Fey noble houses.
Okay.
either of those.
Can I read any of the names on the
Yeah, sure.
family tree?
Which one are you gonna look at? Are you looking at the court system, or are you looking at the family tree?
It's the family tree of like nobles and such, yes?
Yes, nobility houses.
I'll take a look at that.
Okay. You pull the book open. It's a very, very gorgeous, gorgeous book. And it is an old kind of journal. It's got the same tree that you guys have seen so much around this house scrawled onto the front of it. This loopy kind of wording in this language you don't speak on the bottom. Flipping it through, a couple of the pages have been torn out. Others have been restuck in, restrung. There are pages that are ripped and teared. Some of them are like stained. All this sort of stuff. You flick through. There is at the back of the book a single page with a large kind of diagram showing off a couple of these Fey house lines. And at the top you see scrawled out the Valinor. And it goes through generations and generations, hundreds and hundreds of these little branches that branch off into different houses. But the one singular house that follows all the way down to the bottom of this tree. You cannot read all of the names, but there is one name that stands out. It is still etched in perfectly untouched, whereas the rest of this book has been almost ruined. And it currently reads Cormen the Valinor.
Okay, how do I spell that?
Kormen.
And Valinor, how do I spell
Lavlinor.
Okay.
You do notice that underneath this are two small branches that go off from this, two stemmed off. And one of these reads Garaphis the Valinor, and the second one reads Adron the Valinor.
I was like, Corman. Oh, I thought it was gonna be Adron, and then I'm like, oh, there we go.
I'm guessing it's his mother.
And you notice.
Oh, I thought it was his dad, but yeah, no,
His
that
dad
makes a
is
lot more
Elvish.
sense.
And you notice that
Painting.
whereas Adron's
Thank you. Okay.
Adron the Valinor, his name is perfectly pristine, just like Corman's is. This other name is scratched out and ruined, and it looks like someone's been trying to remove this name from the book.
The dad's name?
No,
no, it
other
is-
son.
Oh,
The
How do
he
I
didn't
spell
look
his
as
name?
pretty.
Yeah.
Oh,
it is
no.
scrawled out in very, very difficult to read letters. But you can make out the first bit of it that says Groff. So Grofe.
Do you mean gruff?
No, Groff.
Okay.
There's Adron, and then there's gruff.
And that is about the thing. The rest of these names are all kind of faded and unrecognizable. Some of them are done in that same kind of loopy script that you can't read, the language you don't know. But these three are at the very bottom of this page, and there are no more lines off this tree.
Okay.
Cool. Shyn?
I don't know what Shin's doing. I guess he's just gonna look around and see if there's anything he finds interesting.
Sure, roll me a perception.
That's a 4+3. That's nothing.
You kind of scan the books and stuff. There's a book on cooking. There's one book that details boulders and different ways of describing them.
Sounds interesting.
Nothing really that you perk to the idea of. They're not really interesting.
Oh, I think the cooking one sounds great. Especially if it involves poison. Shin.
I don't think it's that kind of book.
Oh, okay.
You could check out what I'm looking at if you wanted.
Can I go look over Tabik's shoulder?
Sure, you look over Tabik's shoulder. You can't read the page.
Okay.
It swirls and dips, and the colors mesh together, and you cannot make out anything on this page.
Fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Charlotte,
Yes.
you're back in the greenhouse still.
Oh.
What's happening?
Oh, not much. I'm gonna go down to the communal baths.
Okay, you make your way up.
Which I hope is not where Baz is.
No, Baz is not in here.
Okay, cool. Cool.
You make your way in. Bath is quiet, nicely lit and everything, same as always. You're going to use the communal bath?
Yeah. Guess.
Okay.
With all your clothes on again?
Thing is, I'm gonna see if I could get rid of that tattoo on my back.
It's
Oh,
gone.
It's gone.
It's been gone for hours.
Then yeah, I guess I jump in with all my clothes on.
Okay, the same kind of watery serpent comes up, and it seems to recognize you when you enter in. You saw it last time you had used the bath, and it kind of tilts its head again, and so there's back under the water. And the same watery people come out, slipping out of the jar and stuff, and they help to clean your stuff and braid your hair.
Darn.
That's what baths do.
Yeah, I guess so. They braid my hair. Whoa. Okay.
The male one sits in the corner, and he's brought a small watery harp with him, and he starts to play.
I just like look at him like arms like over the top of it. I just like nod and I'm like, "What's up?"
He like hears you and stuff, and he gives a slight like nod to his head, but he doesn't reply.
Can you play Stairway to Heaven?
Yes.
Nice.
He does, yes, most definitely. And Nat 20, it is the best performance of Stairway to Heaven you have ever fucking heard.
Wow.
This dude is talented.
Apparently it is actually Stairway to Heaven, and he just made up a song about an escalator going up.
Yeah, so you take your bath. I guess we're back to you guys then.
I guess
take a bit.
if he didn't see anything of interest, he's just gonna leave. I mean, he might take a second glance around, but I don't think it's gonna do much.
You can go ahead and try.
That's 15.
15? Yeah. You notice there is a section of books, kind of tucked away in the corner, a couple of journals on this bottom floor. And there's a small kind of chain wrapped around them with a small lock on it. But they are all green backed, and they form one cohesive large white tree etched across the spines.
But they're locked.
They are locked. There's a small chain that wraps around them, and there's a little lock on it.
You can't really examine something that's locked.
You have lockpicks.
Yeah.
I have lockpicks, but this is also my friend's house.
So
In a noble house.
And a noble house. Shyn is on best behavior.
wow. For once.
You know what? Go fuck yourself.
Shyn's been on the best behavior of anyone,
Yeah.
other than maybe Tabik.
That's why this is hilarious.
Don't worry, Shyn will get really sassy. It's just apparently we decided to go through noble houses and talk to noble people, and Shyn's just like,
I can't do anything. I can't kill people.
No, I actually think that being in, I can't say that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
What secrets lie beneath?
Apparently, none.
No, there's lots of secrets. I was gonna say something, but it would definitely be like a dead giveaway.
Oh, sorry. There's a dragon in the basement? Did little Timmy
please.
fall down
In
the
the
well?
basement? Please. It's got its own loft.
I was gonna say, it's not in the basement. It has its own room. What are you talking about?
Well, it's in the dungeon.
How rude
Duh.
do you think
Yeah. You need to be hospitable to dragons.
Maybe Adron actually created a game called Dungeons and Dragons where it goes down and he plays in a dungeon with his pet dragon. Who knows? Apparently not me.
dwarves play games with dragons, so
Apparently, yeah. Apparently Yak and dwarves play games with dragons.
Yeah. They play catch with apricots.
Yeah.
can I try to find another book?
Yeah, sure. There's still the court book if you want to take a look at that.
I'm gonna go over and I guess
Okay.
I'll go look at the books with the tree. Kind of examine the lock.
Okay.
I want to find.
Roll me an
What's the-
investigation. And you can roll me an investigation as well. And we will
That's an
see-
8.
8. It's a ornate lock. But you can't quite figure it out. Like, you turn it around and stuff, it looks a little bit too difficult for you.
Okay.
That's a 12.
12, okay. Just scanning around, you find a section of, like, scrolls and map cases that have been placed in, that detail the different, countries and cities and stuff. There's one, that is chained up and, like, locked, like it's being bound in chains and locked with a small lock. That reads on the like outside of the scroll case. They each have a thing. Like one of them reads Nazar, one of them reads the Silk Hills, one of them reads Kavit. This one reads the Starlit Forest.
Here.
Charlotte, how's the bath going?
It's a good bath.
Apparently.
Let's roll. Let's see how good this bath is. It's a 7.
It's not
It's an
bad.
alright
Yeah.
bath.
It's okay.
You're not a big fan of baths.
Obviously, she never takes her clothes off.
That's true.
But your clothes are getting a little bit heavy. It's annoying.
Yeah. No,
really like
I'm probably out by now.
Yeah, you've climbed out. They kind of they don't chitter so much as they kind of like warble, like the water vibrates almost. As you get out, and the little serpent peeks its head up, and this is the first time you've seen it out at the same time that these watery figures are. And they kind of back away and around it a bit, and they go back up to the thing. And the dude plucks a final note in his harp, and then he's back up into the pot. And the serpent-like water creature, it goes back and forth, and it kind of sways, and it makes a warbling noise again. And it ducks its head slightly, and then it goes back into the water.
Tweet, tweet.
Here's a slight warble to the water.
Oh, wow, okay. I'm communicating with water now. I didn't know I could speak water. But apparently I can't speak fire because I keep getting Tabik's last name wrong.
Apparently.
It's not that hard.
I don't remember how to pronounce his name. Karslith?
Karsidith?
Is Karslith still there?
He disappeared as soon as he opened the door.
Okay.
You can call him if you'd like.
Because I was just going to call him to ask why it's locked, but I'm guessing it's just the master wants it locked.
Oh, he could help us find books. I think.
I mean,
Maybe.
He is a fae. He could find anything. But he's also a fae, so
He's a butler.
he
he's a
could
butler.
he could just tell you everything he knows about himself. So
Could you imagine that? Calling him to ask him about Faye and he just gives you his life story.
Well, you see, I was born in the branches of a mango tree, and I slew a giant snake by the time I was 2 hours.
You know what? I am gonna call him.
Okay, you kind of call for Karsadith, and he like appears at the top of the stairs, one of the spiral staircases, like making his way down and stuff. And he says, "Yes."
May I ask why these books are locked?
Different reasons. These ones in particular, the Lord Adron himself has asked they do not be read yet. They belong to his brother. It's a picky subject.
Okay. I guess he'll just nod. And I guess he hasn't seen anything more interesting, so he's just gonna leave.
Okay, yeah, sure. You make your way out the thing. Tabik? What's up, man?
Could I ask Karsadith words? Can I ask him if there's any books about white dragons?
White dragons. Karsadith thinks for a second. And he turns to you and he says, "We have books of all manner of things." And he disappears from this thing. It's not like he like just pops out of existence. It's more like if you turned out of the corner of your eye, something, it just kind of like fades. Like it's there one moment and the next moment it's gone, and you're not sure when they left. It's like that. And he just kind of he fades and he reappears on the second level. Kind of over in one of the corners next to the window and stuff, and he pokes through and he grabs 3 books out. And he reappears behind you, moving around one of this table, and he places them on and he says, "I would check the bestiaries."
I'll take a look through those then.
Sure, roll me an investigation as Karsadith disappears again.
Please work.
He gone.
He gone. He comes and goes and he gone.
17.
17? Okay. You managed to find a section in the back of the second bestiary that describes dragons. And it doesn't have specificities on certain types of dragons, so to speak. It has like a general thing of dragons. And it reads, skimming over it, it tells you that there are different types of dragons, and that generally it is thought of that metallic dragons are level above the chromatic dragons. Generally the chromatic dragons are seen as bad, I would say. They're not bad dragons, they're just more commonly evil. It describes that there was a time in which the dragons served gods far older than the gods that currently exist. And it says that during that time, many of them walked among the people in humanoid form rather than dragon form. And that they were rulers of great cities, they were priests, top of their game in temples, they were generals leading armies. They were very, very common to find. But that after something called the Decline, it also refers to it as the Breaking. It says that they disappeared entirely. And that the last home of the dragons, Temnog, which is found in the Dragonborn homelands, is the only place where dragons now exist.
Cool.
So, sorry, just recap of that. Dragons exist in one place now?
They do exist, but they're very, like, they don't live up to the same standards they did, right?
Okay.
So it's said in the book, it describes the dragons as these powers that were the same level as gods.
Okay.
Right? They serve the gods as they're the head of their armies, the leaders of cities, their highest priests. They walked among the people in humanoid form and stuff. But after something that is described as the breaking or the decline, they vanished entirely from the plane.
Oh, cool.
And now the only dragons they have left are found in Temnog, in the lands of Tult, which is the dragonborn homelands.
Cool.
And that they don't live up. Like, they're big lizards.
They're big lizards.
They're big lizards.
They don't
they're
really
the
have
dragons.
the same sentience?
They have the same sentience, but they don't have the same power.
Oh, okay.
Right? They're smaller than the dragons would have been. They're less knowledgeable. They don't hold the same kind of innate magical power to them.
Yeah,
They're still magnificent creatures, but they're not the same tier.
They're like big chickens.
Yeah. It's like dinosaurs versus lizards today.
Oh, no,
they're still cool looking and they still do amazing things and you don't want to get bit by them.
Yeah.
But they're not going to kill you.
I mean, I was going to say, like, some people think that, like, dinosaurs are actually, like, just the evolved form of chickens. So, like, I was just thinking just, like, a really big chicken.
Yeah, it basically.
But a really big gecko works just as well.
Really, really fucking big geckos.
Yeah, that.
I mean, technically, in some ways, most people are, like, most things are evolved from dinosaurs, but...
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah,
if you take, like, a dragon as you would know it today, versus a fairy dragon, for example. Fairy dragons, they can still do things. They cast magic, they're tough to deal with, they're annoying and stuff, but they're not the same kind of horrible, horrible creatures that the dragons are. It's that thing, but the dragons, and then you've got...
The old dragons.
The old dragons.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, you find that, you read that up. Charlotte, what are you doing after your bath?
So I just realized, like, I put all my stuff down, and I was picking up, I realized that I had a ribbon, and it has the same, it's a blue ribbon with a silver engraving of a dragon trying to eat a 7-pointed star, which is on the book that you have. And I realized that we never actually figured out what that was, so I'm gonna... Well, did you guys say you were going to the library?
Shyn left the library. Shyn left the library.
No, but, like, when we were standing, like, at the front door, did you guys say, like, okay, we're gonna go to the library?
I don't know. Did we?
Probably.
Okay,
Probably.
well, okay, so I'm gonna head over to the library, and I'm gonna go look for that.
Okay, roll me an investigation check.
Is there a second copy of the book?
That's,
Not with that.
I rolled a 2. Okay.
There's so many books in this place. Like, I don't think you guys...
That's true.
This is like... Not like a home library. This is like a fucking grand central library.
It's like...
It's
like Belle's library.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
it's like that size. It's humongous.
Okay, so can I call the butler man over?
Carsidith?
Yeah.
He appears at the top of the stairs.
Okay, I pass him the ribbon, and I'm like, we have a book that has the same picture as this, and I was wondering if you knew anything.
Carsidith takes the ribbon, and he handles it very gently. Very gently. He's looking it over and stuff, and kind of turns it back and forth. Peers closer, and he hands it back to you, and he says, I believe your friend already has the book you're looking for.
Yes. But do you know anything about these symbols?
Not personally, no.
No? I looked at the book before, and it had words that I could not read. Do you think you'd be able to decipher it if I let you see it?
I could attempt it. Do you have the book with you?
Mr. Shyn has it. I believe. I'll have to go... Shyn, where are you?
I think I was gonna have Shyn go back up to his rooms.
Okay.
To look at stuff he has.
You guys would have, taking the time and stuff, you guys would have gone up and down the stairs at the same time.
Yeah, you just missed him.
Just missed him.
Speaking of which, in the room, I want to try for the first time to look at the freaking book.
Yeah, okay. So it's still kind of bound. It was tied. It was tied to
I think it was
the
tied,
leather
yeah.
strap. Right, there's different things. I've got so much stuff. It was leather tied. It's got the same kind of 7-pointed star done silver in the backing. 7-pointed star in the dragon that arcs down trying to eat, kind of chasing it after it was trying to eat it. And you can't open the book, but it's got scrolling on it in a language. Not only you don't read it, you can't understand it, you can't comprehend that it's a language. It is done in such a way, it shimmers and changes, and it is...
Okay, so the others could at least understand it was a language, couldn't they?
You can grasp that it is a language, but you can't understand how someone would ever be able to read or speak this.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a flow to it at all.
Okay.
It's a mixture. There's a jumble of common and elvish, all sorts of languages that you don't know, languages you do know that have been mixed in, little things mixed together.
Okay.
Okay.
Is Charlotte gonna come and get the book?
Yeah, I am. We're all in the same, like, bedroom area, though, right?
Yeah, Shyn's in the master bedroom.
I'm gonna get Carson to follow me.
Okay, Carson does.
Okay.
He follows you up the stairs and stuff as you guys go. You come to the kind of door that Shyn has taken, which is the end door.
Yeah, the master.
You're on the master. It's the slightly open door. It's closed, I assume?
Yeah. Come in.
Okay, I go in. I'm like, Mr. Shyn, can I look at your book?
Why?
'Cause I might have somebody who can decipher it. And then I, like, step to the side and I just, like, point at Carson.
May I also say at this current point in time, like, Shyn is sitting on the bed partially cross-legged with one leg dangling off, and he's taken off his armor. He's just sitting there casually looking at this book, and you just walk in and go, "Can I see that book?"
Yeah.
Carson, as you gesture to, is kind of awkwardly standing. He's not crossed over the threshold into your room and stuff. He's standing outside in the hallway and stuff. He's got both hands kind of laced behind his back, and he looks like he's patient and waiting for it and stuff, but he looks like he's got other stuff he should be doing.
Oh, I have someone else too. Tiz!
Oh, God.
You hear the jingling bells and stuff, and Tiz pops through the door on the other side of the bed, facing towards you, and she comes to a scream. She goes, "Miss Shyn!" And her face just drops. She sees Carsadith on the other side, and Carsadith raises a single eyebrow, and Tiz goes, slowly backs up. She goes, "Sorry," and vanishes into the wall.
Okay, then.
I guess Shyn hands Charlotte the book.
Okay, I walk over your bed and I'm like, "Great, thanks!" Carson, can you read this?
You giving him the book?
Yeah.
Or are you showing
standing
it?
in the middle of the room? Going,
Well, I mean, I'm like holding it, like, looking at it, and I'm just, like, kind of motioning, just, like, for him to come.
He doesn't move. Like, he's not entering this room. But he stands there and stuff, he kind of squints at it and he says, "I do not recognize it."
Well, here, I'll move closer, here. And then I like, walk to, like, the doorway.
You know, he looks at it and stuff, and he says, "It has hints of Sylvan, but nothing that I could read. As I've said, I believe your friend has the book you're looking for."
What book?
You asked me if I knew of anything that would help you to decipher what the symbol was from.
I thought you
Seven-pointed
meant...
star and a dragon.
Yeah, I thought you meant this book.
Your friend, the Fire Genasi, is reading on dragons currently. I assume he would have the book you're looking for. If that is all, dinner will be served with post-haste in the lower hall.
I turn to shit. I'm like, "I'll be right back with this. Maybe." And then I go to the library and would go to see Tabik, I guess.
You spin around, Carsadith is gone. Just fucking vanished again.
Bye, Carsadith, I guess.
And you make your way down the staircase and stuff, and
Can I just say, Shyn
roll
is...
me in acrobatics.
Oh, no. I thought it was a 1.
That's fine.
That's an 8, though?
You slide down the banister. Like a cool kid. You slide down the banister with the book in your hand and stuff, and you make it to the bottom of the thing.
That's cool.
You trip slightly at the bottom.
Whatever.
Getting off, but it's totally fine because you look cool going.
I'm pretty sure Shyn is like following behind her, just kind of fast walking.
So wait, like when you mean like he took his armor off, do you mean like he's shirtless?
I mean he's wearing like just his tunic and pants, like he normally would be.
Oh.
Kiza.
Okay, I thought he was
as
like.
you pass by, you see Kiza kind of opens the door and peeks out. She looks kind of sleepy and stuff, like she's just woken up. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I thought you meant like
she
he's
sees you
wearing
guys as
boxers and
Kiza like jumps up onto the thing because the door is still kind of open.
Yeah.
And she just closes the door.
No, because he, if I remember correctly, kind of the way leather armor works, it goes over normal clothing, and Shyn also has 2 sets of common clothing.
Okay. Cool.
He's just wearing normal clothes. He's not wearing armor anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you make your way back into the library. Tabik? What's been happening? You saw Charlotte come in. She talked with Karsadith for a minute, and then she ran out. What's Tabik doing?
Yeah. Whoops.
I was gonna try and look more about the dragons still. Like, if there's any that have been known to be able to go into human form still.
Sure. Roll me a history check.
Oh, shit. 15.
15? There is mention of a dragon. And the dragon is called the Star Swallower. And it says that once the Star Swallower served the last Iron Queen and was the leader of the dragons. And it said that he took human form more than he was dragon form.
Mr. Dragons served the Iron Queen?
The Iron Queen.
Iron Queen.
I just realized if Shyn's in common clothes, he's probably not wearing shoes.
Yeah.
He's barefoot following Charlotte, just like, oh, okay.
Charlotte's barefoot too. Woo. What? What was that for?
20?
20?
Yeah, what was that for?
There was a pair of little spider slippers next to your door.
I'm guessing I quick slipped them on and then
no,
left.
Definitely. They're soft.
Though may I say, it's kind of weird, but Shyn's tunic is like still fully laced. Like normally people who wear tunics, it's like casually unlaced. His is fully laced.
Like he's got like the
turtleneck.
No, it's not so much a turtleneck. It comes to here. It's just he has it laced up like there's
he ain't ready to get rowdy yet.
Or he's hiding something. It could be either or.
No, he ain't ready to get rowdy yet. It's the decision of the DM. I rolled a crit 20 and I gave you slippers.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, partially because there's no one around for that.
Why did you shrug like that?
We have already established that, like...
No one you've seen.
Oh.
You've met Karsadith and Tiz. You don't know who the fuck else is in this house.
No, we just know it's a large house that we're staying in.
It's a large house.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I don't know that. Charlotte knows that, and Ciza knows that.
Oh shit, yeah, you don't know that.
I don't know that.
Karsadith ain't bad looking. You just ain't ready to get rowdy yet. Okay. Back to it. What is the history roll? Oh, I gave you the history roll.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so it depicts that. Not pictures. It details that. At this point, Charlotte comes running into the room. Shyn following at a slower pace behind. Kind of looking like he's ready for bed almost. Like he's gonna get ready for bed. He's got the slippers on and everything.
It's just like Charlotte. What are you doing?
His long hair just hanging around his shoulders.
He's got like a half of a face mask on.
I was gonna say that. I was like, he was almost ready for his manicure.
Nah, Shyn doesn't need a face mask.
He's got his slippers on. Yeah, you guys are now all in the library. What's happening?
I show him the book. I'm like, Carson said you had a book for this.
Do I?
I mean, you've got 3 books about dragons in
Yeah.
front of you.
I have 3 bestiaries in front of me.
Bestiaries.
And the Star Swallower, which sounds like it could be the dragon on the book.
Are
So
you...
I'll point that spot out in the book to them.
Okay, yeah,
That's
it
all I know.
details the Star Swallower, leader of the dragons that serve the Iron Queen.
Can I roll again to see if there's anything more in that page?
Roll a history check for me.
Not much. That's an 11.
You see the same thing. You catch mention of a second name a little bit farther down. The Star Swallower also went by the Southern Dragon.
Yeehaw. Okay.
What?
Well, what you guys doing?
Mr. Summerhill, can you even make out these words?
Can I take a look at it?
Yeah. The book, the one with the dragon on it, or are you looking at the bestiaries?
The book with the dragon on it. Can I make out any more of the text than they could?
Nope. It's got you notice the same kind of. There's a mixture of dwarvish and elemental and common and stuff. You guys don't understand what this language is because it is a mesh of every language you can think of.
Yep, can't read it.
You're...
No, I was just thinking if it's a mesh of languages, they could start trying to put together what they know about each language. But,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna... Yeah, if we could all decipher
but
it.
that's basic linguistics.
Like, I could try to translate the parts I know to common.
Please.
Doesn't work.
Some of this is in common. It's not like it's been jumbled together like they're taking different words from different languages. It's like they've taken specific rules or letters from different languages. They're using the Elvish grammar, but they're using draconic lettering.
So
and...
wait. So this is the fantasy equivalent of English?
Yeah, the fantasy equivalent of English, exactly. Yeah, they plucked pieces, bits and pieces, letters and different ways of forming things together. You can recognize like bits and pieces that have been stolen, but they're done in a way that doesn't match
Anything?
No, nothing you've read before, nothing you've been able to speak in your life. It's just plucked and meshed together.
So the only way someone who would really be able to read it is if they knew all the languages.
No, probably more like if they knew this specific language.
They'd have to know the language to read it. It's if you knew all the languages, you could pinpoint like the way they're specifically used in each language, but they don't seem to mesh together in the same way, right? So it looks like they're using the Elvish grammar, but it's not arranged the proper way that Elvish grammar would be.
Okay.
Tiz.
Tiz doesn't appear.
Oh no.
Tiz probably
Tiz
can't
is
come in the
dead.
library. Also, you just like got her in trouble with her boss.
That's you're right. Oh no. How did I even do that?
You called her in front of Carsadith.
So?
He's the head of the staff.
Yeah, what does that mean?
That means he's her boss.
Yeah? I can call her. She showed up.
I don't think she's supposed to be seen.
Oh, okay.
That's traditionally how servants work.
Darn it. Wasn't there another one? There was another one.
We don't have a name for it, and Baz is the only one who saw it.
Could I take a look at that book that I got from the shop? Like the train book?
The what?
Sorry?
I bought a book.
Oh, the Dream Journal.
Yeah.
Dream Journal. Let me check.
Wait, are you just pulling out a dream journal in front of both of us?
I'm just taking a quick glance at it, because you said that I had a book that could help understand this, and I don't understand
Oh, that's true.
what you meant. So I'm looking at all the books that I have with me right now to try and understand.
Yeah, okay.
So that was the dragon book that you guys were looking through. That's the one that Carcidus is referring to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get
But if you'd like to try and use the journal, where is it?
If you're done with that book, could I please have it back?
Oh, I'm not done with it yet.
Do you have the description of what it does?
What else do you plan to do with it?
what you gave me.
Yes, the dream journal. Do you have the description of what the dream journal does?
Look at the index.
You can't open it.
I can't.
He came up with
I
all
can't
the
open it?
spots. There's no real thing. for
You
it.
can try.
Uh,
Try opening the book.
Where did I put it?
Okay, I opened the book.
The
I
dragon,
opened the book.
one with the dragon on it.
Yeah.
Okay. You unlace it, and the second you open it, it begins to glow.
Oh. Cool.
That's
Okay.
probably
You
not the
can't see anything on the pages.
thing.
Like it's like looking into like a flashlight or something. Like you know there's something behind it, but you can't see it past the glow.
I've got something for this. I cast light.
You can't cast anything.
Oh shit. I try and cast light.
It fizzles.
Oh,
There's
no.
like a spark, little light, like a tiny like Christmas light bulb size.
Aw.
There's a flash of that, and then it gone.
You try something.
Shyn doesn't have anything he can try.
I don't know.
I mean, I can look at the book, but I don't think I'm
Stab
gonna
the
see
book.
anything.
Stab the book.
I can look at the book, but I don't think I'm gonna see
Oh.
anything. I think I'm gonna say
You
the
could try
same.
and look more about the star. You know what the dragon is, but not the star. Like, if it's a 7-pointed star, that means something.
Speaking of which, I hate your 7-pointed star.
You love my 7-pointed star, because I love my 7-pointed
It's
star.
an odd number of points. It makes me angry.
Most stars are 5. That's still odd.
Yeah, but it's easy to draw a 6-pointed star. It's hard to draw a 7-pointed star.
You mean a 5-pointed star?
A 5 or a 6-pointed
Oh,
star.
okay, okay.
6-pointed stars are easy. They're just... I need a pencil.
Apparently
We're
not.
drawing
if you
stars
don't
now, guys.
They're
Oh.
literally just like that.
Oh, okay.
A 7-pointed star
I
is
typed out
harder.
what the description was and sent it to you.
Cool.
Because I think that's basically what you said it does.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure if I gave you the wrong... There's a different description that I have here for a book, but I wasn't sure if I gave you the right description, so I wanted to make sure. But I do have that, yes. Okay. So you take it out. It's a nice book. The pages are blue.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a quick glance about it, see if it says anything about dragons.
Oh no, there's no writing in it. It's empty.
It's empty right now?
It's a
Okay,
blue book.
Put it away.
Okay, you put it away. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna try something. Dim.
Yeah?
No, I just look at the book and I shout dim. Dimmer.
It dims.
Okay, what do I see?
And as it fades, you see, firstly, the same looping scrawl of this strange language on the front cover.
Okay.
You see the beginnings of what looks like a picture of a temple, is the best way you could describe it. It looks like some sort of ruined city almost, floating at the top of a mountain. And then just as quickly as the book began to dim, there's a crack, like a crackling pop, and then it glares brighter than it was. And I need you guys to roll dexterity saving throws.
Holy.
Oh
Wait,
my
first,
God.
did you see that?
What?
Like, sorry, did Shyn see what I just saw on the page?
That's a 17 plus 5.
Yeah.
20.
20? Okay.
Dexterity save?
Dexterity save.
That's a 10.
10?
I counted it. It was 22.
22? Okay. Charlotte, you were kind of leant over this book, speaking, when it glares up. And as it does, it's like you are being burnt almost. And you take
Ouch.
7 points of radiant damage.
Hey, I am resistant to that.
Oh, you are resistant to that. You take 5 points of radiant damage.
Darn. That still hurts.
I mean, we're about to go to bed, so... I mean,
That's
if
true.
you don't want to try and, like, read the book again and it almost kills you.
And after it flashes, the book shuts itself and the tie cores around and ties off, and it drops back onto the table.
Darn it.
Oh, that's a weird book.
Well, I'm gonna try that again.
Bring it away from us this time.
Okay, I'll walk over here then. Okay, untie it.
Okay, yep, I'd like you to make a sleight of hand check.
Okay. That's an at 20.
Okay, you untie it,
Okay.
and you open the book
Got
up,
one more character.
and it's still glowing.
Okay, dim. Please.
It begins to dim. And you catch sight of that same kind of ruined city-looking temple.
I want to do an investigation check on it.
Let me finish here first.
Ah, darn.
Because as it dims, you see more of this picture.
Okay.
And you see it is etched on top of a mountain.
Okay.
And there is a waterfall that flows off of it into what looks like some sort of forest that scatters down to the edge of what appears like a cliff for a second, and then the bottom of the page starts to dim, and you find out it is an island that is floating in the middle of what looks like a starry sky. And there is a blink and a hum, and you can roll me your investigation check.
That's a 17 plus 18.
Okay. The one thing that you manage to notice before whatever happens is that in the center of this temple, kind of hidden in, like, painted behind the things and stuff woven into this picture so that it's almost impossible to see it, is the form of a dragon. A gigantuan silver dragon that winds its way around the city. And as the book hums, I need a dex save.
Darn it. That's a 15.
15? Okay. You take 9 points of radiant damage.
Is that without?
That is with resistance.
Okay. I'll stop now.
Now that you're down to
Really?
9 points.
I'm down to 9 hit points because of a book.
And the book slams shut, and the cord ties itself once again.
Okay. Well, I give the book to Shyn. Be careful with this book.
I mean, Shyn can't open it, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why can't you open it?
I don't know, we literally just went through that. I can't apparently read any of the books about Fae lines either. I literally can't understand the pages.
Okay.
Which is fucking suspicious.
A little.
You tried to open the book?
I tried to open the book when I was in my room.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that.
And you said I couldn't open it.
You couldn't open it. You can't open it, I should say.
What?
You can't open it. I was just like, wait a minute. Did you?
Yeah, I
I was
tried.
running on auto drive. It's like, no, Shyn, you can't open the book.
Apparently Charlotte can.
Charlotte can open the book, yes.
That's weird. A little sketchy, but okay. Here's their
I'm
book.
guessing it has to do with something with Charlotte.
Do you guys actually talk about
no, I
like
don't think
this
so.
in character?
you want to
like
role play it?
Yeah.
Role play it, guys. Role play it.
Here's your book.
Thanks. How did you open it?
I don't know. I opened it. Did you not try opening it?
I can't open it.
Why not?
He tries to open the book.
The book does not budge. Will not open.
I literally cannot open it.
Okay, well, it's a book. I don't know why you wouldn't want to. Okay.
Can I
It's
try
not
and
that
open
I don't want to open it.
Yeah, Tabik. Roll me a sleight of hand.
Oh, okay.
Is Shyn the only one who can't open the damn book?
14?
14. It takes a little bit to get the thing untied, but you do manage to open it. And as the pages open, you take 2 points of radiant damage as it flares up and shuts itself and reties.
Oh. Well, that's great. At least I can open it.
I can't open it.
Maybe I should keep it?
I think Shyn was more thinking just to keep it safe. I was actually at one point thinking we should ask to lock it up in the library.
No. No, I don't think we
I
should.
don't want to lose it in the library.
Yeah. First off, there are a lot of books in the library, and I don't want to continue. I don't want to look for
We don't
half
have
a day
ghosts in
for
this
the one
house.
book. So. But did you see what I saw? Wait, no, you didn't.
I don't know. I don't know if I saw anything.
You did.
I did. I saw the first.
Except I moved over.
Except
so.
you moved, so I didn't see the full picture.
Okay, well, there's a dragon. It's silver. And I think that has to do with the one that's on the front of the book. It's on a floating island under some stars. And I don't like the looks of it.
It's interesting.
That's all you have to say. Okay.
Shyn doesn't have much interest in dragons. I'm not even sure Shyn knows much about dragons.
I mean,
he knows what Underdark creatures are.
I don't think I know what, like, I don't think Charlotte has...
Let's roll to see if Shyn knows what dragons are.
Does Shyn know what dragons are?
That's a 17, I guess.
He knows what
Guess
dragons
he
are.
He knows what dragons are.
There's a couple of creatures in the Underdark that they don't look like dragons, but they resemble them in a way.
Yeah.
So you would have had something to go off of at the very least.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you want to keep this book then?
I would be fine with you keeping it as long as it doesn't leave this manor.
Why not this manor?
I do not think it would be safe to take the book outside of the manor.
I don't think it'd be
Can
safe
we
in the
trust
manor.
everybody in the manor?
I mean, he was told to trust Carsadith at the very least. Of course, I guess the rest of them don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Shyn literally explained none of the note.
I don't think it's safe in this manor, to be honest.
If you really desire to keep it that badly.
Okay. I will keep it then.
Okay.
Okay.
I could hold on to it as well.
I trust Tabik more than I trust you.
That's not very nice. So who are you letting take the book then?
I'll let Tabik take the book.
What? I'll add that to my...
Tabik's got the book then.
Yeah, and Shyn's gonna head upstairs to take a bath.
Ah, darn
You make your way down to the bath and stuff.
He just
Small
like
bath.
turns.
Small bath? Okay, yep.
Darn
Slide
it.
in.
Okay.
Same kind of pedicure, manicure ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Slide out there. They clean you.
Yeah. No, I don't trust the big bath. I mean, Shyn doesn't know about the dragon, but like the serpent in the big bath, but I'm not sure he would trust the big bath. Also, he just doesn't like people, and the big bath looks like it's meant for people.
Yeah, so what about Charlotte and Tabik? What's going on with you guys? Shyn's gone to take a bath.
Yeah, Shyn's taking a bath.
Shyn's like, you know what? You guys just got hit by radiant damage from a book that I can't read and open, so I'm gonna go bath.
Shyn can't apparently read anything in this library, so he's just gonna go take a bath. Though he's kind of disappointed and upset and confused.
Oh, Shyn can read stuff. It's just that page that Tabik was looking at. He can't read.
He just specifically can't read that page.
That page exactly.
For some reason.
Yep.
Hmm.
So, Charlotte, Tabik.
Oh,
Yeah, because I'm not
Yeah,
doing
no,
anything
that's
exciting. I'm in the bath.
Sorry, Tabik?
this Star Swallower dragon seems important because it's on the book and there's the symbol we keep seeing everywhere. I'm telling Charlotte this.
Oh. Yeah, a little.
Would you like to help me find some more information?
Yeah, I would actually.
Okay, I'll hand over the bestiary book that I was looking through with the Star Swallower dragon and say, look through this, and then I'm gonna try to find information about a 7-pointed star.
Okay.
Okay, yep. You guys can both roll me investigation. As you guys do this, Carcidith appears in the doorway at the top of the stairs, and he says, dinner has been served. In the
Not
lower
now,
hall."
Carcidith!
Can it be brought here?
I do not believe Grubbins would enjoy that.
Is that the chef?
I don't know. You don't know who the fuck is Grubbins.
That's true. Okay.
The fuck is Grubbins? You never heard of Grubbins.
Okay.
And Carcidith kind of fades back into the drawing room and disappears.
I don't like Carcidith anymore.
Well, I'm gonna try and find this book and then we go.
Yeah,
18.
18? Okay. There aren't many books on it, but you do manage to find a star map, which details, like the movements of the stars in the sky as the year goes on. Looking around, you can't find note of any specific 7-pointed star, but you do notice that there is a constellation up in the top hand corner that is close in resemblance to a 6-pointed star.
Can I look about that constellation?
There's no like proper books on stars and stuff. There's this star map that you can find, but there doesn't seem to be any proper books in this library about star constellations or stuff. It seems that whoever stocked the library didn't take much heed in that sort of stuff, or that you can't access it if it is.
Okay. Well, Tabik gave me that book that had the dragon. I rolled a 10 for that book.
Okay. You find a page that describes Harafa, the mother swallower.
What?
And you read up on that because that's pretty interesting. And it describes a creature that would go around to different towns and eat the mother of children that have just been born.
Holy shit.
And it is only when you get to the bottom of the page that you realize the page is about a wyvern, not a dragon.
Okay, well, I have another tactic then. So I got the ribbon. I don't know if any of the group knows this, because this was, like, when we were in Atron's Tavern, but, like, when I blinked, there was, those white guards.
Yeah.
And he's the one who gave me the ribbon.
Yep.
I'm gonna look up those guys.
Okay, roll me an investigation with disadvantage. You don't know what those were.
You don't know what they were.
You're going by the way they look. It'll take you, like, looking around this place, just trying to find that.
That's a 7.
I think this Patrick the Board said that they were sentinels, and that was it.
Yeah. You find a couple of different creatures in the bestiary. They describe creatures with bark for skin. Some of them have creatures that envelop different objects, different places, spirits of protection, but nothing that quite fits the description.
Yeah, okay.
There's certain things that take, like, different aspects of it that are similar, but nothing that screams, this is a sentinel.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna go out to supper then.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow if I'm done reading. That book.
Carcidith doesn't appear in the bath houses, but there is, like, there is a small.
I'm just imagining Carthagena being like, "Where is everyone? Oh no."
He bubbles up on the other side of the tub, just kind of floats up out of it. And he's like, "Dinner's in the lower hall." And then he goes back out. There's the entry. There's a little entry hall kind of area outside of the actual main baths with the large doors that open up, facing kind of to the side that's on the opposite. But there is like a plane of like almost those paper panels from the room upstairs. And you see like the shadow of a person who looks like Carson appear there. And he says, "Dinner is served in the lower hall."
Okay. Thank you.
And it disappears.
Yeah. I guess Shyn will get out of the bath.
Sure, yeah. They've rebraided and bowed your hair.
Yay.
Your hair is bowed too.
Yeah, you were in the bath too.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm guessing there's another robe with his name on it.
Same robe.
Yeah.
It's being washed.
Yeah. Which he's not gonna wear back to his room. He's gonna change here. And then head down to supper.
Sure, okay, you guys make your way into the lower hall, which is downstairs. You passed by the high hall and the lower hall, but you guys had not actually entered into them.
Oh, before I go to supper, he's gonna go and get his proper shoes.
you go grab your boots and stuff, drop off the slippers.
Yeah.
The slippers just like, they're like dolls and they're like, why?
You make your way down to the lower hall, and you guys meet up at around the entry hall and stuff, and you make your way down. Ciza's already asleep, and you guys haven't seen Bad since you got home. Making your way down this tunnel and stuff. You got the aroma first off hits you guys. It smells magnificent in this hallway leading up to this lower hall. Especially coming from the kitchens area and the servants' quarters. You hear the clattering of pots and pans and like a murmuring of people, and you hear one voice above the others who, like, you can't quite make out what it's saying, but it is far louder than the others, and it is yelling at the top of its lungs. And you guys turn the corner and you make your way down the large doors. There's two sets of doors, one closer to you guys and one farther down the hallway that open up into the same lower hall. And you head through, and there's a section of 3 almost picnic tables, long tables, chairs on either side, going down this, and a large fireplace in the center. They've pushed the middle tables away and like stack them against the walls. The closest table to where you guys have entered is currently laid out with enough spots for you 5 to sit. Baz is sitting already, and he's like halfway done his dinner and stuff. It's a small feast and stuff. Laid out in front, next to these fire pits on either side, are what look like 2 training mats they've rolled out and stuff. And there is like a small section of armory and stuff that's being stocked with some weapons. There's a like dummy for like kickboxing or hitting or whatever you want to do that's being sat next to on the far side. It looks like they've basically set up like a small training area for you guys to use at any point you want.
Okay.
You take your seats and stuff. The goblets are done in wood, living wood. They squirm and move. The designs on the outside, like vines, kind of go up and down, constantly in motion. Like little pictures move across them, a deer running through a glade, forest with an eagle flying above it, stuff like that. And they fill themselves up the second you sit down at your chosen place. And the food smells delicious. Delicious.
Nice.
And you sit down, you begin to eat. It's a good meal. It's pretty nice. It tastes a little bit off, a little bit strange, not quite the way you're used to it tasting, but it is good.
Yeah.
And you hear that same kind of loud yelling voice that you guys had heard when you were passing by the kitchens area, and it's coming down the hall now, and it is yelling, and into the room bursts 3 pixies.
I stop eating.
Floating pixies. And they've got like a tray in front of them. And they're these tiny, tiny little pixies. And they've got their own little like maid outfits on. And they've got fluttery kind of wings. They look very, very, very stressed out. Like,
oh.
they look like freaking out and stuff. And they're kind of hunched shoulders as they push this cart and stuff. They're jittering back to each other, and you can't quite make out what they're saying, but it's like this high-pitched kind of squeaking to each other.
Oh, okay.
And from behind them comes, and this one is going to be great, a fairy, rather than a pixie, and it's kind of like moth wings almost.
Okay.
And he's this kind of pudgy little fairy. And he's got a like apron tied around his waist that says "Kiss the Grubbins," and he's got his large chef's hat on his head, and he looks like your classical like old school New York diner chef.
Oh my gosh.
Like a greasy Sal person or something. And he's got this little wooden spoon that's a regular size spoon. It's like twice as high. He's floating around the air, and he whips it and he throws it, and one of the pixies ducks and it hits the wall, and he's yelling in this high pitched voice and stuff. And then he turns towards you and he's totally composed.
Oh my
Totally
gosh.
composed. And he goes, "Dinner served.
Okay.
Can I interest you in dessert? My name is Grubbins. I am the head chef."
He sounds like Gordon Ramsay. Oh.
What, have we finished main course already?
It wasn't really a main course. It was more like a starter appetizer type thing,
Okay.
like a soup of some
Okay.
sort with some bread laid out.
Okay.
And he gestures over to this little cart, and one of the pixies kind of struggles to lift the topping off this big kind of cast thing, and inside lays a boar.
A what?
And this thing, a boar, like a wild
Okay.
pig.
Definitely not what I heard.
Did you
No.
hear whore?
No, I heard vor, and I'm like, is this badass?
It's got an apple.
Or they open it and it's just Hank.
No, inside is a boar, like a wild pig, and it is
Oh, sorry. That's my foot.
it is far bigger than any boar you've ever seen. Like, this thing is dire boar sized. It's humongous. Like, there's pig size,
Yeah.
and then there's dire boar size, and
Oh,
then
okay.
there's fucking dire boar size. Like, this thing is bigger than your table.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? And they've carted it in on this big fucking thing, this gigantuan plate, and like, this thing could eat one of you whole. That's
Oh, wow.
how big this pig is. And they wheel it out in front, and Grubbins claps his hands and says, "Feed them!" And the pixies take giant carving knives out, and they begin to slice portions of this thing off.
Like samurais?
Like samurais, like they
Yeah.
look cool. They look really fucking cool, right? And they do this.
Dinner served.
They bow down once they've done it, and you each have a little portion of this thing, and it's like barely made a nick in the hide of this thing.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god.
Grubbins will feed the fairies now, and in streams from both doors they fly open. Hundreds and hundreds of these little pixies and fairies fly in.
Holy.
And they've all got their own little aprons on. They're all like chittering back and forth. He says, "Quiet! We eat with the masters of the house!" And they all quiet down and they sit on the opposite side. He says, "If you will allow us, the rest of the staff would like to join you for your first dinner."
That would be wonderful.
I was gonna say no.
And he claps. And the first thing you hear is more people than you have ever heard in this house.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
There's the clattering of hooves against
Nice.
stone. There is the willowy voice of singing women. And in comes a selection of creatures you have never laid eyes upon.
Nice.
There is a group of centaurs that
Oh,
make their
wow.
way in.
Wow.
There is some satyrs that kind of dance in. They're playing some piccolos as a group of flowy dryads walk into the room. All manner of beings, creatures. And at the very end comes a dog.
Oh my god.
And it is the size of a wolf.
Mhm.
And it has the face of a man.
What?
And hanging around its belt, which is attached to its waist, is a set of keys.
Oh,
no!
It's Bruno.
Yeah, it's Bruno. It's Bruno for sure. And it sits down at the end of the thing, and just so you guys have an image of what this thing looks like.
It
Can I
looks
get a
pretty
picture
messed up.
sent to me?
Yeah, it looks pretty messed up in my head. I'm not gonna lie.
It's pretty messed up looking in real life. So
Okay, good to know.
it's called a Yuck Hound.
Oh my god.
Can I get a picture sent?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will send you a picture right now.
Yeah.
And it walks in, and it kind of looks around and it sniffs. And it sticks its tongue out, and it begins to pant like a regular dog. I smell food. And it takes off for your guys' side of the table. And it comes up and it sits next to Baz, and like sitting next to Baz on this bench, it's a head taller than him, right? And a plate appears in front of it and it begins to eat. And the last three people to come in are people you recognize and one lady you don't. You see first Tiz, the little girl, and she comes skipping in the hallway. You see Carcidith follow behind her, much more appropriate and slowly paced. And then comes a woman with long white hair and white skin, deep cherry red eyes, and she is dressed in a flowing costume, like a dress almost, that kind of made of silks stitched together. And she is silent as she goes. And they take a seat next to this hound, and they begin to eat. And the woman doesn't eat. A plate appears in front of her, with a small piece of paper on it and a quill, and she just begins to jot some notes, to draw, waste some time and stuff. And Carcidith talks back and forth with this hound, who replies in between mouthfuls of food. And yeah, these people, they sit down, they begin to eat and stuff. There's a roar. They're talking back and forth. It's a lively bunch. And they all bear some manner of servant's garb. You have the pixies wearing their aprons. The satyrs, they all have a little gardening tools on in a belt around their waist. The centaurs have some weapons and armors on them and stuff. One of them is in plate mail stuff, and he's got the helmet down and stuff, and he keeps trying to push it up, and it keeps falling down in his face, and eventually gets him tired, takes it off, and puts it down next to him. The dryads are all wearing a manner of maid's clothing, like the little maid dresses and stuff. They're all just sitting and chatting with each other. They seem to be enjoying. And Bruno is yelling back at these three pixies that are serving food off to everyone, refilling plates, all this sort of stuff.
Okay.
We have somebody watching the stream.
Oh.
Hello.
That might be Ditto.
It might be
No,
Ditto.
it's somebody new.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
They're
sup?
typing in chat.
Oh,
Welcome.
welcome in, bud. Yeah.
Do you think maybe we should thank the house?
We could, yes.
Say thanks for all the food. Yeah.
Well,
Why are you pointing at me?
'cause you're the one who Mr. Banham would get angry at me for not using manners, maybe. And I don't want that in the middle of my speech.
Maybe wait until after dinner.
Carcidus stands up, and he taps a spoon against his own goblet, which is actually made of glass. And he taps a spoon against it, and the hall begins to quiet and stuff. And he says, "To the Lord Adron and all of his family, may they drink of well health and good benefits. And there's a res of things, and everyone kind of mutters an agreement and stuff. And they take a long sip, and he raises the glass again. To the new lords and ladies of the manor, may you have good fortune. And he raises the glass towards you guys. And there's a little bit of an uproar and stuff, like they're excited and stuff. And they drink again. He says, and to the lords and ladies of the court, may they never find the manor, and may they rest forever in the greens. And they drink, and they go back to things, and he sits down.
Why are you making me do this?
Because you're the one who... I'm not saying anything to Mr. Carson.
You notice by now that the boar, this gigantuan boar, is like gone. Like this thing is a skeleton now. And Grubbins, the little fairy man. He gestures the pixies in this kind of high-pitched voice that you guys had heard them using earlier and stuff. And they begin to wheel it out, and a different set of pixies bring in the next cart. And they open it up and stuff, and steaming different desserts and stuff. There's puddings and cakes and all manner of stuff. And he begins to serve people that. And he comes to your table and he goes, what do you want for dessert? Well, I have puddings, I have cakes, I have blood, I have anything you could ask for.
What?
Well, we're all different manner of creature, and there's all different manner of creatures here. Not all of them eat normal food.
Robbins prepares all meals for all manner.
How does he get the blood?
You can ask.
I'm not gonna ask that.
I don't know what Shyn likes.
Pudding!
Which is really weird.
I like pudding.
Okay, he serves you up some pudding and stuff. It's a very nice pudding. It's very, it's like a little kind of creme brulee almost thing. It's got the red kind of drizzled sauce on top of it and stuff, and he serves it up to you. It tastes like berries almost.
I just realized I like pudding.
I'll have a piece of
Tabit's
cake.
not having any dessert.
Okay, he passes you a nice cake. He lays on Tabik's thing when you refuse the dinner and stuff. He lays on top of your plate a single thing of coal, and he says, I don't know what you guys like for dinner. And then he
I just
wheels.
don't want dessert. I'm fine with dinner.
He wheels
I'm
away
dessert.
to the other group of these four weirder looking things: the Hound and Carsadith and this woman and Tiz itself. And they each take their own fill. The Hound takes a large kind of bowl of blood. The woman kind of waves a hand. She doesn't really want anything. Carsadith takes a bit of pudding for himself. And Tiz grabs a cake. A full cake.
Nice.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
And you see Carsadith kind of turns and looks at her. And she puts back the cake.
Aww.
And she takes a slice of cake.
Ah.
Aw.
I would have dared her to take the whole thing of cake. Well, I'm not going to do it.
I don't even know how to do a toast with this, because apparently we have living wood goblets.
Well, just stand up. I'm not going to, because I don't talk in groups in front of big groups of people anymore.
Neither does Shyn. It's been 5 years.
Baz has finished his dinner, and
is
he
Baz
lets
going
out
to
a
do it?
belch,
Oh my gosh.
and he exits the room.
Oh.
Well, he's not.
I guess Shyn will stand.
Okay. There's a soft murmuring around the room, and it silences.
Okay. He picks up his goblet and just says, I would like to thank the members of the staff for our welcome and their services so far and the wonderful meal.
Okay, there's a loud round of applause. An axe comes flying and embeds itself in the wall next to you. And you see Carson just kind of like stands up and he turns around and he's like, none of that! And you see a kind of sheepish looking, like, they look like gnomes almost, but they've got these tall red hats and these sharp teeth and stuff, and they giggle to each other. And the other one one of them kind of walks around. He bears sharp, like razor sharp teeth towards you guys as he grabs this thing out of the wall. And he heads back.
Yeah, I guess after that he'll
They like
sit down.
us.
They do. Yeah, they seem to like you and Joyce. If you want to roll a history check,
All of us?
Oh.
if you don't have to, but to see what that would be.
Sure. Oh.
History? 19.
19. So you read a little bit during the your browsing through the bestiary, and you come across red caps, which are these kind of gnomish-like creatures. They have a taste for blood and battle, and they are not nice people, but they take well to, if they serve someone, they'll serve them. But they tend to be a little bit, like, rage-induced. They like to cause some mayhem.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ciza might like them.
Yeah.
True.
I guess we finishing dessert.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm probably done dessert, so I just leave.
So you guys finish up dessert, and as you do, you see the rest of the hall has kind of begun to finish up dessert. And a group of the dryads, they kind of drift up towards the fire pit and stuff, and they each take out their own little instruments.
Mm-hmm.
And as they do, Karsadith kind of hurries out from his thing. He says, "I believe it would be best if you left at this point."
Okay.
Well, she was gonna leave anyways.
Okay. I guess Shyn kind of nods, and then leaves.
You guys leave, and you see the woman with the long white hair and Tiz. They make their way out after you guys, kind of. They're just slightly behind you, and they're walking down. Tiz seems to be chatting quite happily with this woman, and Karsadith closes the doors behind you guys as you go, and you hear music start up,
Mm-hmm.
and for a split second, there's like a tug at your consciousness, and you could not imagine doing anything other than turning around and going and dancing, because this is such beautiful, beautiful music. But then it's cut off, and you're like, no, I don't want to dance. And you guys make your way back to the entry hall.
Are you sure Baz wouldn't want to go back?
Baz
Baz is
left
already
already
gone.
left.
Oh, okay.
Baz left beforehand.
Oh, that was your... Oh, I understand why.
Oh yeah, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, we're missing 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so you don't think I'm just becoming Baz all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys make your way back down towards the entry hall. And you see Tiz and the woman, they kind of pause at the end, at the, like, doorway, this, like, glass doorway towards the courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to, like, Tiz kind of says goodnight or whatever. And the woman turns around, she opens the door to this courtyard, and she closes it behind herself. And she walks out into this courtyard, and she molds into this tree. She, like, slips into it like it's nothing. Like, she's walked through a curtain.
Okay.
And there's a slight ripple behind her, and then it's gone. And Tiz turns around and skips up one of the staircases and out towards your guys' rooms.
Okay.
I almost want to check that out, but that could probably save
Ask
for
the
another...
creature for a Pizza Hut style pizza for dinner.
What?
The chat.
What?
The chat told you guys to ask, I just read it, but
To-
it said to ask Grubbins for Pizza Hut.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do Delicio? No, it's delivery. Fantasy delivery.
I guess Shyn's gonna head up to his room.
Cool. Yep.
But when he gets there, he has stuff to do, so.
Okay, yeah, you guys go up to your rooms, and you kind of go in. It's not too bad. You split up. It's a nice, quiet evening.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to do anything? Or you just going to bed, other than Shyn?
I'm just gonna chill on my chair.
Shall you chill in your chair?
Nice.
Tabik? Bedtime or?
Go back to the library.
Okay, Tabik, you make your way back to the library. Start with Shyn.
I'm just gonna check the book about the Star Swallower again, see if I missed anything, and then head up to the bath if nobody is there.
Sure, roll me a history check. Get to you in a second, actually. We'll get this one.
History now? 18.
18?
Yeah.
Okay. Gazing through this, you can't quite find mention of a lot of things. There is one word that seems to have been circled over and over and over again. And you can't quite make out what it says. It doesn't look common, or it doesn't look Dwarvish either. But it does look slightly familiar, like you've seen it before, but you don't know what the language is. That's the only thing you can find.
Is there like a table I can leave the books open on to come back to the next morning?
Yeah, no. You can leave. There's
I'm gonna make
like
sure that
10
that
of
one
these
page
tables.
with the word is.
Okay, yeah, you place it down.
Yep. And then I'll go upstairs.
Okay, you head back upstairs. Are you turning in, or are you gonna do something else before you go to bed?
He's gonna go to the bath again.
Okay, yeah, you go do a bath. The same thing happens as your last bath. It heats up. It like empties out and then fills with some warm lava. The water comes back over and stuff. It heats the bath nicely.
And can I try and talk to like the watery people in Primordial?
Sure. Go ahead. What are you saying?
I'm gonna. I guess. Do you understand me?
You cut out there a bit.
Yeah, I just had an internet connection problem come up. I'm just gonna try to say hi and I'll try to see if they understand me.
Okay, yeah. The two women, they don't do anything, but the man does look up to you, and he does raise a hand and kind of wave, and he says it back in Primordial. In Elemental. Specifically.
So we can understand each other like that then? Somewhat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, yeah, you take a bath. They give you bathrobe stuff, all that. It's the same. It's not very different from the last time you had a bath. They braid. Yeah. You don't have hair, do you? Kind of.
Not. You can't really braid it.
Can't really braid it. They paint your nails again.
He's got spiked flame hair, like Guy Fieri.
Well, it depends on which description of the genocide you read. Because sometimes the fire ones have actual fire for hair.
Oh,
sometimes
actually?
they just have like rich red hair that moves like fire.
They paint your nails.
What color?
They are purple.
Nice. And that water dragon thing, can it understand me?
It doesn't appear.
Aw, shit. Okay, that's it.
Okay. Yep, you head out of the bath. You're going to sleep now, or more to do?
He's got nothing else to do. It's been a weird fucking day.
Okay, it's over there. I'm just like, well, where am I in the camera?
Shyn.
Okay. I guess Shyn walks to his room. He closes the door. Takes off his shoes, gets ready for bed, but he pulls out the pearl necklace.
Okay.
To examine it.
Okay.
That's an 8. That's not probably doing anything.
It's very, very well done. Very, very detailed.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a owl on the one side, and it has a dragon on the other side.
Okay.
But you can't make out much other than that. It doesn't look like there's much else to make out.
I guess he'll slip it over his neck.
Okay, yeah, you slip it on.
And hide it underneath his shirt.
Cool.
I mean, there's no point right now, but he probably won't remember in the morning.
Yeah.
Though, I guess we could say that's a ritual. And then he still has that pouch from Adron, doesn't he?
He does.
With the locket and gold pieces in it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I have it written down in my book.
Yes.
How many gold pieces were in it? I don't... You didn't tell me that. You just said there was gold
That's the notes
pieces.
that I have buried from, like, sessions ago. Always be prepared for everything. I want to know things that are years before.
I forgot that I had it for so many sessions.
I think it was about 40 gold.
Cool. I'm going to add that to my count of gold.
4 years from now, I forget how old she was. I'm like, wait, shit. How old is she?
How old is Charlotte? Shit, that was a long time ago.
And can I look at the locket?
The locket?
Yeah.
Yes.
I got another 8.
Wow.
The locket has like a little clip. You can't really open it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be closed and it doesn't seem to budge. It looks like it's kind of been rusted, just being out in the wilderness for so long, and around the kind of seawater and stuff. It started to rust a little bit. But it is oval shaped. It's got the same tree.
Okay.
That you had not recognized at first when you gotten it, but it does have the large tree on it. And it sounds like it jingles slightly, like there's something in it, but
okay.
nothing definitive.
Okay. And then he'll just put it away.
Okay.
And I guess
Sleepy time?
sleepy time.
Sleepy time! And just like that, you guys all fade into the dream world. And we will stop the stream here. Because when you guys wake up, we'll have Ciza and Baz with us. And we will begin our final quest. Finally. Finally.
Our final quest. It's only been like a month.
Well, our
I can't
quest
go
of
beat a dragon.
our quest of the Ark.
The final day
I thought we had
before your quest.
Oh.
Your final
I was gonna say, I thought we had a training day.
Yeah, you do. You have a training day where you can choose to do something. So let's get that out of the way now.
I was gonna send Shyn to go and get poison.
Okay, so Shyn's gonna go find the marketplace, gonna scour the market for poison. Charlotte was going to have a day with Baz, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's been a good training.
Baz is teaching you manners.
No, he's not teaching me manners. He wanted to, but he's not going to teach me manners.
Okay, what is he teaching you?
Something other than manners.
He teaches you the correct way to hold a fork.
Absolute. No, not it.
Do I have time to also start writing a letter?
Yep.
Start?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I could finish the letter in one day.
You can do that in the evening. You can begin. It takes a good bit of the afternoon to do that. And Ciza comes with you actually when you go across in the boat and everything. Tabik, what were you doing?
I'm gonna look at the books more, try to get my intellect up a little, and I think that's it.
Okay, yeah.
Research day.
So
Check
Tabik, you
the
spend.
dream journal if there's anything in there.
Okay. We will do that the second we get into next episode. You spend the day researching and kind of flipping through pages and books and everything. Charlotte, you and Baz disappear into the lower hall just to talk. You spend the day kind of debating and stuff, and he teaches you a little bit more about just the way things work, because you seem a little bit out of it here.
Excuse.
You seem a little out of your element to him, so he teaches you a little bit more like the kind of like history and places and mirror and everything.
How money works?
Money.
Well,
a lot of that. He goes over the currency system a couple of times.
Let's face some facts. I don't think he's a good enough father figure to teach me about that.
About money?
Yeah.
Baz likes money.
No, he likes his
He
guitar.
teaches you different types of soap.
He's probably gonna teach me the 20 separate names of his 20-headed guitar.
He spends a good hour teaching you how to individually tell which string head is which.
Yeah.
And then he teaches you a couple of chords.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting at the least. Shyn, you and Ciza actually cross the waters together. She catches you just before you leave to go over in the boat together, and you make plans to meet up before you go back over. And she disappears down the boardwalk towards the high harbor and the brass anchor and such.
Okay.
You make your way through the marketplace and everything. It takes you a little bit to find it, and once you do actually find someone who sells poisons and stuff, it's about 10-20 silver per poison, depending on what type of poison you want to get.
Okay.
And you manage to collect that stuff. Ciza comes back, and you guys meet up at the wharf once again. You take the boat back over, and Ciza disappears upstairs. And you disappear
To write a
to
letter.
your room to go write a letter.
To write a letter.
And we will hop back in next episode to see how this stuff turns out, guys. How your days are spent and how well they go. Until next time, good fortune, high rolls, and
Some other
doors
thing.
that open
That's a little
because of
crazy.
dogs.
Okay.
My dog can open doors. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah.
That concludes our session for the day.
Yeah. Woohoo.
See you next time.
See ya.
Yay.
Before we go, we will not be up next weekend. Most likely. We're gonna try and do our best, but we are at Taste of Animathon here in Edmonton. Make sure if you can find us, stop us, say hi. We'd love to see you.
We'll
And
probably have some stuff on the Instagram story.
we will. We will have a lot of stuff on our Instagram, most definitely. Yeah, feel free to stop us, say hello. Love to see and meet some of you guys. Until next time, though, good luck.